Future Johnson here. Before we get into the video, I just want to let you know that I'm switching the review order for Captain America, the First Avenger, and the Avengers. I was originally going to do Captain America, the First Avenger first, followed by the Avengers, but I decided I wanted Captain America, the First Avenger to come out the day before 4th of July. Captain America, 4th of July. I thought it would make some sense, so at the end of the review for the Avengers, I will tell you that I'm taking a break off next week. That's false. It's going to be the week after Captain America. So, this video, this intro is going to be in front of both videos, so in case you only see one, it's going to be exactly the same information, all that. So, I better get back to editing those videos. And now, enjoy them. Last Friday, I reviewed Thor as part of my series of MCU film reviews, and today, well, I'm going to be reviewing the next one. I'm John Barry, and today I'm reviewing Captain America, the First Avenger. So Captain America, the First Avenger was released on July 22nd, 2011. It was directed by Joe Johnston, and the screenwriters were Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, and was produced by Kevin Feige. So this is actually the first of the MCU films I watched. I started here, I really did not watch them in any particular order. So I watched the Captain America films, then I watched the Iron Man films, then I watched all the team-up films of the Avengers. Then I kind of did a lot more jumping around, like, oh, I want to watch this one next, no, then I want to watch that one. So I did do a lot more jumping around than I would say with Star Wars for first-time viewers. But this is the first film I started. And I started with this film for a specific reason. One, it's the first one chronologically. Well, maybe Thor has some scenes set before this, but that's another matter. Same thing with Black Panther, actually. But those are more stories, not the film itself. Stories in the film, not the film itself. But this is the one I started with for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to, and two, it is set during World War II, which is an era of history I have particular interest in. It's a neat area. I like playing the game Hearts of Iron IV. It's also, I think, it represents kind of America at her best. Maybe not always at her best, but definitely when comparing America to the Cold War, except for maybe the space race, America was definitely probably at one of her best, and probably one of the most wars people have no complaints about in America. It's just a neat era. America's responding. It's truly entering the global stage. It's an era of also transformation of America. It is very much a key point in American history, and that's why I find it so interesting. So I started with Captain America, the First Avenger, even though it's basically a fictional film. You could call it alternate history in some regards, but I honestly would not be surprised if there was a secret, Nazi SS Rogue Science Division, but not as powerful as Hydra, obviously, otherwise we would probably know about them, right? Yes, we would. It's been over 70 years, and, well, most classified information would have been released by now. So, yeah, that's how I'm going for that. But no, we know that in real life, the German Reich and the Nazi regime was very focused on Wunderwaffe. I think I pronounced that right. Basically, these ideas of wonder weapons that were going to win the war. That's essentially the premise of Captain America: The First Avenger. What if there was a rogue science division in the German Reich that was actually developing those weapons and actually getting them to work, but keeping them for themselves and using it for their own goals rather than helping the Nazi regime. That's actually an interesting premise, even though basically Hydra is equally as bad as the Nazis. And because it's very easy to make your enemy Nazis. That is what Hydra is. That's what they are. There's no getting away from that. And well, Captain America, what does he do? He fights Nazis, and he punches the leader in the face. his first comic book, that's what's on the cover. He's punching Adolf Hitler in the face. This video probably will never be monetized, even if I do have monetization now. But this film very much is, of course, Captain America's origin story, as I said, but it's also a bit of alternate history. But also, apparently Captain America's first comic book is an actual comic book in the MCU, which is just amazing. And actually, in real life, his first comic book was designed a bit as propaganda for the United States, as it. While this film is definitively shown to be a propaganda. That's what Captain America, the Super Soldier, was used for until basically on a USO show over in, I guess, Italy? I think that's where they said they were. He goes on a rogue mission in Austria to rescue his best friend Bucky. And he frees a bunch of other prisoners from Hydra as well. And then we get a kick. And so the guy escaped, we show off his immense abilities, and then he gets back, he's applauded, even though he disobeys orders basically, but he's applauded for doing the right thing, basically. And then he forms up a team with Bucky and a few other people he met while freeing Bucky and all that, and destroying the first Hydra base, even though it was actually self-destruct that destroyed it. And boom, boom, boom. He and the Howling Commanders are going around and destroying Hydra facilities. Based off of a quick glance he had on the map and off of a map marking the locations, and he was able to get a good view of that. Obviously, the Super Soldier Serum does a lot more than give a guy muscles. Improves his mental capacity, apparently, too. And, yeah, at the end of the film, well, and we're just going to jump ahead to the end of the film, Captain America sacrifices himself to stop a Hydra weapon from bombing the United States. Though, why couldn't he keep them circling indefinitely? I don't know even then. I'm just going to say Captain America wasn't trained as a pilot at this point, because let's remember, it is set up earlier in the film that he does not know how to fly, because he needs Howard Stark, Tony's father, who also helped develop him, as a super soldier, to fly him to the area where he needs to jump in, because apparently first of all, Peggy Carter wouldn't allow him to walk all the way there, which was his initial plan. So he flew in, but obviously, I think it's set up that Captain America doesn't know how to fly. He knows how to do a bunch of other stuff, but flying isn't one of them. That's what I'm going for, how I'm reading that situation, that sure, maybe he could have landed that plane successfully without anything going on, but maybe some Hydra thugs were still on that plane and could launch one of those bombs if he's not careful. He's afraid of if he crashes the plane someplace more populated, it could explode and kill a bunch of people. So he decides to bring it down in the Arctic, where it'll be as safe for everyone as possible but himself. But, he gets frozen in the ice and wakes up years later, in present day, and he meets Nick Fury. Yeah, and he's introduced to the modern world. And Captain America is very much a fish out of water in those scenes, but this film, yeah, we spend time with him in this, in his world. He fell in love with Agent Carter. Also, Agent Carter was the first woman he's actually able to hold a conversation with, and that kind of stuff. And yeah, there's a lot going on in here. We get, kind of hints at other parts of the MCU with, the Tesseract, which we know to be one of the Infinity Stones, the Space Stone, if I'm correct. But we don't know that at the time, but it's kept in Norway, and the town actually makes an appearance in Avengers Endgame as New Asgard. And that town actually is a real town. Owensburg, I'm no good with Norwegian names, by the way. But it's allegedly the oldest Norwegian settlement in Norway. Or Viking settlement in Norway. Basically the oldest settlement in Norway, allegedly. Again, there's always you can always debate some things, but the idea that the Asgardians you have a special connection to this town. It was set up basically in this film, even though in this film, film itself, we don't learn the town's name, even though extra material tells us which town that is that Hydra steals the Tesseract from. But we're also shown Tony's father as well in this film, which kind of sets up the character of Tony's father before Tony was even born. And I think that's kind of like, you can see where Tony gets his brilliance and, inventing mind from, but maybe a bit of his arrogance too. So I think Howard's not as arrogant as Tony is. But we get more about insight into these two, into Howard actually in Avengers Endgame, because we all know what happens there. If you haven't, well, where have you been? Even I knew it before watching Endgame. But we do get that stuff in there, because I just want to touch on a few Agent Carter stuff involving, Captain America. I think it's actually in this film that there was a deleted scene where Captain America in the present, in his new present, in his future, when he wakes up from the night, is given a document with, what happened to a lot of his friends, including a number to contact Peggy if you wanted to, like phone number, but he doesn't. It's a deleted scene that I've never seen, I've only read about, so who knows if it's actually true. But we do know that he does gets to visits her in Captain America the Winter Soldier, and then of course we get to see another of the interactions in Captain America Civil War. This one's much more somber. We also introduced, and also Captain America Steve Rogers is introduced to Agent Carter, Peggy Carter's niece Sharon, and yeah, it just makes things a bit awkward in some regards. And then of course we get and she does actually pop up in other places, but the other place important for Captain America is actually in Avengers Endgame, because, well, you all know why, as I said earlier. But the nice thing is, he accidentally stumbles into her office. She's not there. That would be an awkward situation. But on her desk is a picture of Steve Rogers. Not as Captain America, not after he was given the super soldier serum, but before, when he was still basically a scrawny young man who was not fit for service. And that tells you a lot about, it's clear in the first Captain America, the First Avenger, that they are falling in love. They basically schedule a dance, and then Captain America goes and says, I need a rain check of the desk? So they push it back like a week, even though probably both of them knew that's not going to happen anytime soon. But when Captain America wakes up from the ice, that's basically, well, his first thought is like, what's going on? But his second thought is like, okay, I had basically a date planned. I guess that's out, so can't do that now. But that was my first thought. But that scene in the Endgame does cement that in the First Avenger that Peggy Carter fell in love not with Captain America, but with Steve Rogers, the man. No, his personality, not his superpowers, in other words. Basically, who he was on the inside, his thought. We get a scene between Steve Rogers before the super serum, and the scientist is already responsible for developing this super soldier serum. Well, Howard Stark, they have a role in it, not the main role. But this man, whose name I'm forgetting, but basically was one of the scientists that have escaped Germany to escape Nazi persecution, in other words, says that Steve Rogers is a good man, and that's why he wants him for the program, not a bully, not the person who follows orders. He wants a good man, and that again connects back to Infinity War with who Captain America decides to give his shield to, and another person who Captain America describes as a good man, who we're going to be introduced in the next Captain America film. But we still got a few films to go before we can talk about that film. So this actually has been one of my longer reviews. It's a film I really wanted to watch and actually talk about, so that's why it's a bit of a longer film reviews than some of the other ones, and actually I still have so much I would love to talk about. I really do love how even in this fictional setting, in a fictional alternate World War II, they still very much capture the spirit of the war. You know, stopping the bad guys because they're hurting others. Not to hurt people yourself, but to stop somebody from hurting others. Even if you have to, even if you have to kill them, you need to stop them, kind of the idea. Because we get a line that from Steve Rogers that he doesn't want to kill anyone, but he wants to stop bullies. So that's very much, he basically wants to stop people from hurting other people. A very noble goal, and we do kind of see that in the other films where Captain America is the one who's always most concerned about, stopping the bad guys from hurting others. So that does I'm just skipping ahead, does kind of blind him to how the repercussions of his own actions, but also he fought in the war. None of the, very few of the other Avengers actually fought in a world war like he did. And this is just a side note. It's amazing how many Avengers are kind of ex-military. Actually, it's not that many. Only 4 people who've ever joined the Avengers are ex-US military. Black Widow, well, ex-KGB, so paramilitary perhaps, and then of course, Solo did lead the armies of Asgard at that point, so I guess. But we're talking about U.S. military here. So we have Captain America, actually, well, 5. We got Bucky. So Captain America and Bucky, once Bucky's rid of the Winter Soldier programming. Spoilers. Why these films are 10 years old, basically. What's the word I'm looking for? They were ex-U.S. Army veterans from World War II fighting in present day. Yeah, so they got, well, it's actually kind of now the past at this point in the timeline. But that is very much a key thing there. Like, they're ex-US military. They fought in World War II, the last, I would say, truly global war. And so they are used to, like, fighting the bad guys, and collateral damage is just going to be a thing. Then you got the Falcon, and then you also have Rhodey. They're U.S. Air Force. Falcon he's a vet at that point. I don't know. I know that at least through Iron Man 3, Rhodey was still a colonel in the U.S. Air Force, but I don't know about the rest of the MCU films. I'm actually kind of not sure anymore. But they're all both Air Force, but the modern day Air Force, where not only do you have standard rules of engagement, but actions are much more contained. The modern day military, for lack of a better term, is how I say. Collateral damage is something that the military is used to, but at the same time it's a much more limited thing because they're going for more surgical strikes because of the technological capacity to be able to do so. Then of course we got Captain Marvel, who's also ex-Air Force as well. Man, Air Force seems to get most of the love, but it's 3-2. No Marines or Navy. Only a matter of time. But for her, she never got to see combat, but she was in the Kree military for a little bit. And the Kree military has their own set of rules, but herself, well, she's kind of the outlier. But that's something interesting I picked up, how basically 5 of the people who are Avengers themselves or work closely with the Avengers to practically be considered Avengers are ex-military, but ignoring Captain Marvel because in her own film she's discovering her own past, so she really doesn't have her previous military experience in her head, and for herself she was just a test pilot. But we get the Army vets in the Avengers and the Air Force vets in the Avengers. The Army vets are from World War II. The Air Force that are basically from the War on Terror. Very different wars. World War II was a global war. Those characters are more used to collateral damage just being a thing and stopping the bad guys. But Falcon does side with Captain America in Civil War, but both of them are more, I would say, are more used to, the Air Force people are more used to more surgical strikes. You limit collateral damage as much as possible. It's a kind of a different mindset. Though again, I think they do have different. It's interesting how those characters are set up. I know I'm talking about that in the talk about Captain America: The First Avengers, when I really should be talking about it in the films they are introduced. But this is where I wanted to talk about it. But this review has gone on for 20 minutes. I rambled a bit at the end about something that's not even largely related to the film. But a little bit because I wanted to say how this film and how World War II sets up Cap for the rest of his story. And how compared to the other World War, or the other US military vets that we see in various MCU films that are acting as part of the Avengers. But if you have any thoughts about Captain America: The First Avenger, please let me know in the comment section down below. I would also like if you consider liking the video if you haven't done so already. Also, check me out on social media, Facebook and Twitter if you haven't done so already. Links are in the description. And feel free to join my Discord server. It's an excellent place just to chat and hang out. Or support me on Patreon if you would like to help support this channel. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel and feel free to check out the video or the playlist on screen now. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Have a good one. Bye!